Hey guys, it's Daniel with Perspective. So Neera Tanden's having a little bit of trouble today. Let's take a look.
We have some breaking news for you now. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia just announced that he will vote against President Biden's pick to lead the Office of Management and Budget, Neera Tanden.
What a conundrum. Joe Manchin coming to the rescue, rescuing us from another terrible pick by the Biden administration. I don't feel the best about this, but it's what we got.
Putting her nomination in jeopardy. Manchin saying in a statement, in part, quote, "I have carefully reviewed Neera Tanden's public statements and tweets that were personally directed towards my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, from Senator Bernie Sanders to Senator Mitch McConnell and others."
Man, it's nice to see Joe Biden is more forgiving about this sort of thing than Hillary Clinton or Neera Tanden were at any given moment of time. Either that or someone said, Neera Tanden, and he's like, okay.
I believe her overtly partisan statements will have a toxic and detrimental impact on the important working relationship between members of Congress and the next director of the Office of Management and Budget.
Isn't it a weird feeling when Joe Manchin might be a little more on top of this issue and this person than Joe Biden is? It's just a weird feeling to be in. But again, they're not that far apart, so I'm not really sure. Let's take a look.
Let's bring in our panel. Alexandra Rojas, this would be Biden's first defeat.
Joe Biden's first defeat. Who is he talking to? The man's entire track record. He lost a presidency previously because he plagiarized someone. He put the black community in prison with this crime bill. He's kept college students from not able to even declare bankruptcy. What does he mean? This is his first defeat. Does he mean right now in this administration? You mean the administration that already took the $1,200 stimulus check that we were going to get under Trump and reduced it down to $600? Is he talking about the fact that we've already sent troops out to Somalia, to Syria, and expanded our rhetoric on what does he mean? This is his first defeat. What?
And obviously a defeat for Neera Tanden personally because of a bunch of tweets she's done that were rather harsh.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, there's public record of those tweets, but the reality is I think that Joe Manchin is the one being divisive right now. We are in the middle of a public pandemic. Joe Biden was just elected by a huge mandate.
What do you mean a mandate? He barely won. He's decisive within his own party. He's already working with the opposing party, and he barely beat the game show host that came before. What do you mean he has a mandate? Is that mandate to get Neera Tanden in?
Mandate? By the American people. We have to deliver as Democrats, and we need people in positions of power who are ready and prepared to go big in this moment and not leave anyone behind.
Well, I mean, except people's student loans, which he doesn't want to really bring with him.
The mentality has got to be of the Democratic Party especially, but any elected official, that we have to move quickly to save as many lives as possible. And I would also point out that he had no problem voting to confirm other appointments of clearly partisan members when it was the previous Republican administration. There should be no, I think, opposition to some, you know, folks that are being proposed by the Biden administration who...
Saying you committed and engaged in criminal acts with other people that committed criminal acts before is no defense to say you should keep doing it. Her point is basically, well, he did sign up and go along with clearly partisan people that should have not gone through. Otherwise, she would have never made that point to begin with. At the same time, he should keep doing it now that it's happening on our side. How about you just have a nice standard of don't vote for partisan hacks? He shouldn't have voted for them in the past if you, person talking, knew that they were not to be picked, and he shouldn't do it now. You don't get to whataboutism a bad cause.
Who have, you know, clearly are ready to do the work and are ready to get the job done, and they feel are the best prepared to do it.
And Mary Catherine, I mean, it needs to be pointed out, the Republican resistance, I'm not sure how many of the 50 Republican senators are against her nomination, but obviously enough that her nomination's in jeopardy. Republicans for 4 years said, oh, I didn't see the tweet. I haven't seen the tweet. I didn't see the tweet whenever asked about Donald Trump's tweets, which, by the way, were far worse than Neera Tanden's, as obnoxious as some of Neera Tanden's tweets were. It is bizarre to see a bunch of Republican senators who all of a sudden have read a lot of tweets and been suddenly very offended.
Again, making a whataboutism hypocrisy complaint doesn't fly, because the point is, when it was happening with the Republicans, although CNN, you were playing patty cakes, as always, so you want to stay connected. you said it was a bad thing to do and they shouldn't be doing it. And they really had no excuse to pretend that they were not aware of these tweets. But now that these tweets, which granted are in the Republicans' favor to know, are out there and they're talking about them, your stance is now, well, where were they talking about them then? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. You guys are just laying groundwork to defend Biden and Neera Tanden from something that you would have chastised had the shoe been on the other foot. Let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think the offense for them is minimal. I think it probably goes more to the being the head of a liberal think tank for a long time and being part of a liberal movement. Like this is a partisan and ideological divide, not so much tweets. I also don't love people going down for mean tweets.
Can someone check in to see if she's been consistent on people not going down for mean tweets in her history? I'm just curious. Let us know in the comments below.
But here's the thing. Senator Joe Manchin has a pinky ring, and it is one ring to rule them all. He is in charge of these things in huge ways because of the very non-existent margin that Democrats have.
Didn't the person like that you're agreeing with next to you just say that the Democrats have a mandate? Now it's a non-existent margin. You got to pick one. You can't do both.
And so I think, he's allowed to have votes of conscience in which he decides that this nominee doesn't work for him. And I don't necessarily want to, and I think the Democratic Party shouldn't want to question his motives because they got to keep getting him on their side.
Oh, so as always, the Democrats' strategy is now very cleverly done. They control the House, they control the Senate, they control the presidency, but they just can't get anything done because of one guy, in this case, Joe Manchin. So they have to do whatever is necessary to keep them happy, keep him happy and give him whatever he wants. Just don't tie it to anything, because if you tied it to something, you might have to get concessions out of him, or he might give concessions for that work. But no, the Democrats are going to just do it. It's now Joe Manchin is now president, everyone. Joe Manchin is now president and a member of the Senate. At the same time, if Joe Manchin says we're good to go, the Democrats are like, okay. And if Joe Manchin says we can't do this, the Democrats are like, oh no. This is America. This is the Democratic Party today. This is how pathetic they are, that they have someone like Joe Manchin that's in this position that I don't know. It seems to be whenever they have a situation like this and money from their donors is at stake, all of a sudden they're able to get some blackmail on him or force him into some position, make him return. All of a sudden a sex scandal pops up. I don't know what it is, but Joe Manchin has something on him. I don't know. Maybe he has too big of a house for his zoning crimes. I don't know. The point is, the Democrats will only fight him if he went against tax cuts. And in this case, he's fitting a role that I think they really like, which we called a while back, which is any excuse to do nothing is exactly what we're seeing. We don't have to see the rest of this clip. This is enough. We are tired of mainstream media peddling these nonsensical acts that lack logic, that are lunacy, so they can maintain their partisanship and CNN can maintain their journalistic connections. Thank you all for watching, and I want to thank one of our members from our Discord who suggested this story, which you can as well. Bacon for President. Thank you so much for sending me this clip. If you want to join us with this sort of a new thing we're doing with Perspectives, go join our Discord and keep an eye out for my messages every weekend. See you then.